I'm strong in faith.
Faith can move mountains. Radio Maria, 91.3 FM.
The voice of truth.
Good evening, Abuja. Welcome to Journey Through Life with me, your host, Sisi Bunmi, on Radio Maria 91.3 FM. How has your day been? Good day, I hope. Are you still in the office, on your way home, or are you home already? Wherever you are, just relax and enjoy the next 1 hour with us. My guest this evening is Mrs. Mary Laniyan. She's a systems performance and executive coach with over 25 years of experience in technology and business transformation. You're a mother, you're a wife, and you're a diaspora Nigerian. You live abroad, don't you?
Thank you very much, Sisi Bunmi. Thank you for having me this evening. Yes, I'm a mother of 4. I'm also a grandmother to a 7-year-old.
You don't look it.
Well, what a compliment. Thank you very much.
And you live abroad.
Well, I would say my move to Nigeria is what this is all about right now. So I'm spending about 80% of my time in Nigeria. So let's just say, while some people are doing Jakpa, I'm trying to do Jakpa.
Jakpa, that is returning, the opposite of Jakpa. You're welcome to Radio Maria.
Thank you.
Oh, so what is an executive coach? Coach.
As it says, I'm a systems performance coach as well as an executive coach. So essentially, I work with individuals, I work with leaders, I work with teams, and I work with the wider organization. Because obviously, wherever you have human beings, you have relationships, you have connections, and as such, most of the challenges we have are mostly relational and psychological. So I go into organizations to help them, uncover those systemic issues so that they can surface the anti-patterns within their systems that is blocking performance and the flow value. So that's essentially what I do, and I'm hoping to be able to do more of that here.
Here in Nigeria, have you been doing that abroad?
That's what I've done for a very long time abroad. I have worked internationally. I've worked in Brussels, I've worked in Norway, I've worked in the UK where I lived, and I've also worked with clients in America. So I'm an international consultant. Definitely.
So you have a broad experience. So we're going to be benefiting from this your experience now that you have jackpaded.
That is the whole idea. The whole idea is to come back having served other parts of the world. I've been away from Nigeria for the better part of 34 years. Although I did come back at some point with my children because I wanted them to have some kind of connection with Nigeria. So my older daughters, they did their secondary school here, while my younger 2 children did their primary school here. I just wanted them to have a look and feel of what it feels like.
Is that very important for you and your husband?
Extremely important. It was always on the cards that we should at least bring the children here to just, experience what it means and what it feels like to be a Nigerian. Let them see the other side of the world, and really experience it, not just come for holiday.
And their roots, where they come from.
Their roots, more importantly, their roots, exactly.
You've come with some soundtracks to your life this evening. The first one is Aye Ole by Infinity. We'll play that for you.
Thank you.
Aye Ole by Infinity. That actually means life is easy. Life is not that difficult. That's the meaning in English. Okay. So why is that a soundtrack to your life? One of the soundtracks to your life?
For me, that is my outlook to life. And it's obviously we didn't play the whole of it, but it's a very deep song. It's a song that reminds us that we are passing through here. We're not here forever. And I think when we remember that we're not here for eternity, it should put us in check. It should put us in check. And, just our day-to-day activities, how we go about our business, we shouldn't get too worked up. We shouldn't be anxious. We should just do the best that we can on a day-to-day basis, knowing fully well that, God takes care of the birds and the animals in the bush. How much more me? So let's take it easy,
So is that your general outlook to life? You take things easy, you're relaxed, and
I try to take things easy. I'm human, so I have my moments of anxiety without a doubt. But like I said, this is a soundtrack I often have on redial. I can hear it like 10 times a day, sometimes, not every day. it's just like I said, it's just that reminder to say, you know what?
Calm down.
Calm down. You're good. God has got your back. And it also talks about, as long as you have faith, you will be fine. And the Bible tells us about, faith as little as a mustard seed, right? So, yeah. And it also talks about looking at other people the way you want God to look at you, There's a part of it where it says, look at me the way you want God to look at you. So that's a way of saying, let's be nice to one another. Let's be kind to one another. And I think I try my best in that department.
So have you always had this attitude to life generally, or did this happen at a time in your life, or you've always been like this?
I would say this has come at a much later time in life. Although as a young person, I was never one who stressed. I wasn't the type that fought. I didn't like people who gossiped, about other people. So I'll say mostly, but more now than ever, because obviously I'm almost an old age pensioner now. I'm an elder. I'm almost an elder.
So I want to ask you, you went to England, you moved to England as how many years ago?
34 years ago.
Did you go there as a student? How did you? Because there wasn't a concept of Jackma back then.
Not
obviously.
so much.
Yes.
Not so much.
Tell us about that.
For me, I had my fiancé already there.
So it was about love.
Well, you can say that. So I went to join him. This was straight out of university, and obviously doing my youth service.
Which university did you go to in Nigeria?
I'm an Akokite, great Akokite.
That's Unilag.
Yes, University of Lagos, absolutely. I had a wonderful time there. So I went to join him, and a few years later, 4 children, grandson, back to Nigeria. We thank God.
So why have you decided to come back to Nigeria now, when everybody, when the mainstream is like, people are going there, everybody is trying to get a visa to here, there, everywhere, and you have decided to come back home? What influenced that decision?
Okay, first of all, like I said, I've been there for 34 years. I've given my very best to the United Kingdom. I'm at a point where the last of my 4 children is already, in university, second year university. And I just thought, you know what? It's time to come back home and add some value. We can't keep complaining about Nigeria and not also ask ourselves, what have you contributed to, the growth of your country? So I just felt it was a good time to come back and see what I can do with all the skills that I have acquired. So let's just say I've come back very loaded, and I'm ready to add value.
So do you subscribe to the saying that says, East, West, North, South, home is the best?
Absolutely.
Really?
There's nowhere like home. You see, as much as we complain about Nigeria, there's still so much that is working for us. My sister unfortunately lost her husband last year. And I saw women, community of women supporting her. You see some bringing food today, another one bringing water tomorrow, some coming to sleep over. I didn't experience anything like this with anybody. I mean, I haven't lost my husband, and by the grace of God, he's still going to be here for a long time. But I just loved that community spirit that I saw around my sister. I mean, in the UK, when my neighbor lost her husband, I was just driving out one cold winter morning, and I saw her. And I was like, hello, how are you? How's your husband? And she was like, oh, he died 9 months ago.
Dear. And this is your neighbor?
Next door neighbor. So I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't know you lost your husband. I'm ever so sorry. That's England for you. Mind your business. So I didn't know she lost her husband at all. So that community spirit, I know it's not as strong as it used to be when we were young, but we still have that. And we must do everything to protect it, because it goes a long way. That's why we are mostly happy in this part of the world, and, a lot of depression issues, happen on the other side, because people are lonely. People live alone a lot, and people don't talk to each other as much.
That's a very, very fascinating, story. That 9 months.
9 months.
And this was your neighbor.
Next door neighbor.
Wow. The next soundtrack to your life is God Problems, is that?
Yeah, God Problems.
By Maverick City Music.
Yeah.
we'll play that for you as well. That's a deep one.
Another deep one.
Very deep. Tell us about that.
When I first came across this song, I think it was about 3 years ago or so. And I'm like, wow, this is deep. And again, I find a lot of comfort in music. I've always loved music. Always loved music. I love all genre of music. And when I'm feeling slightly low, I'm going to blast something. Trust me. And
then dance.
Maybe sometimes dance, maybe sing along sometimes, maybe sometimes I'm just on my bed, just listening to any kind of music that, I fancy. And for me, this music, should I say, was a much needed one at one point where I felt so low. And I just needed to keep reminding myself that, you know what, just like the first one, God has got your back. There are some problems that God's already fixing because they are God's problem. You don't even know them. There are some things there are some battles that are won on your behalf that you don't even know. So you just focus on the things that are within your locus of control. So there are some things that are within our power to do, on a day-to-day basis. And I just keep reminding myself, that list of work you have to do, those lists of priorities you have to do, you just get on with that. Break them down as much as you can and do what you have to do on a day-to-day basis. And eventually, the dots will connect. The dots will connect. But don't try to solve God's problem. Don't try to solve, because sometimes I think we try to solve God's problem and then we lose focus on the ones that are actually in front of us for us to do. So it's like division of labor. Yes, that is what it is, division of labor. So I've got my one to do, God has his ones to do. Leave God, let God do God.
Yes. So you were saying, so if somebody is down, how do you pick yourself up to now do the checklist, because you need to have the power to to lift yourself up first.
Absolutely. I mean, we're all human. Sometimes we're low to the point of perhaps even crying, shedding tears. And when that happens to you, just let it. It's okay to cry. But for me, it's about that awareness of that assurance, if you like, to say, I'll be fine. There's no human being without problems. Even the rich do cry, right? So it's just that assurance to say, come on, girl, talk to yourself, look at yourself in the mirror, okay? Have a conversation, have a conference with yourself and say, you know what, you've done this. And another thing I do is I look back and I say, remember that thing? You came through, didn't you? Remember that one? You came through again, didn't you? So you've done it before, you can do it again. So these are ways I pump myself.
Yes. Up. So in essence, you have to encourage yourself. I had a guest here who said to me, her own thing was, you fix your own puzzles. Nobody's going to fix it. And I took that, you fix your puzzles. So is that what you're saying, that you fix your puzzles? Nobody's going to do it for you.
Because they've got their own thing they're worried about. Everybody has something. Everybody's got their cross, okay? And that is why you need to say, you know what? Nobody's coming for you. I've got to pick myself up. And the thing is, to be honest, God has deposited in us the ability to do so much. And that is where we need to be careful not to be weighed down by any challenges we are going through. It will pass. It will pass, because we are highly resourceful as human beings. We are very, very intelligent, very creative, and very resourceful. These attributes I just mentioned, they are not binary propositions. We are all on a spectrum. Everybody's creative, everybody's intelligent, everybody's resourceful. So don't let anything weigh you down.
So if someone is listening to us at this moment and they're feeling down, perhaps a bit of depression, so your advice is?
My advice is, you've been here before and you pulled through. You will pull through again. But also, let's not, totally discount the need to ask for help also. There are times when you can ask for help, but when we look deep enough, trust me, we tend to have the solutions to our own problems. And you can also seek the help of a coach.
That's where you come in.
That's where I come in. You can also say, because you see, a coach will help you see what you don't see. You know how you go to the supermarket and you're looking for something on the aisle and you can't find it, and then you call for assistance and then they just pick it up in front of you. It was always there. You didn't see it because
yes.
you were too close to it. So sometimes we're too close to our problems that we don't see it. It takes an external person to disrupt your thinking, to help you think about the way you think, in order for you to start seeing things from a different perspective. So yes, ask for help, ask for professional help, and also have that self-conversation.
So your coaching is not just with corporate bodies.
No.
You do personal, individual coaching too.
Absolutely. I work with individuals, I work with people in the private sector as well. I work with individuals, teams, and the board members. It's from the top of the organization to the very shop floor, as well as private clients.
So if you could say in a sentence or a word, what do you see that is a common thread of people's problems that you deal with?
Oh, as varied as, there are
what's the
people.
most common that you see across?
Procrastination.
Leaving what you can do today till tomorrow. I'm guilty of that as well. Yes.
Procrastination, and then sometimes people within the corporate world, you find that people are finding it difficult sometimes to manage people because they are so used to their technical skills, and in our environment we are yet to understand coaching. We do a lot of training, but we are yet to understand the value of coaching, and hopefully these are some of the areas I'm trying to advocate for.
So coaching and motivational speakers, is it the same thing, or there's a difference?
Far from
because
it.
we have a lot of that. We have a lot of motivational speakers.
Yes.
So what is the difference, the main difference?
I'd
like to know that. Yes.
Motivational speakers will obviously encourage you. They will say a lot of, they use a lot of sound bites to pump you up and to encourage you to just say, you can do this, just like I've said before. But a coach and motivational speaker, maybe you go to a conference and there's a motivational speaker, there is a one-off thing, but a coach partners with you. So as a coach, I go into partnership with you over a period of time to help you tap into your, like I said before, your resourcefulness, okay? To tap into your potential so that you can solve your own problems. Because as a coach, we are not really coming to say, I'm going to solve your problem for you, but I'm coming to help you think about the way you think. I'm coming to help you disrupt your thinking so that you can become aware of your beliefs, your assumptions, the scripts.
Your potentials.
Exactly, the scripts you play every day, because sometimes we hold ourselves back. So when you become aware of these things, then you begin to take the forward action to tap into your potential and be the best that you can, or to achieve your goals.
So how did you become what do we call it, a coach, or what do you call it?
A coach.
Oh, a coach, yes. So how did you venture into that? Is that what did you study at university?
Okay, I studied quite a few things. My first degree was botany at the University of Lagos. Then I went to the UK. I studied information technology and business information systems. And then I went on to have an MBA in management consulting. But I have taken a lot of professional courses. Back in 2015, I started what we call Agile practitioner. So I'm also an Agile practitioner. Agile is about bringing in agile principles and values and principles.
What are agile principles?
Agile principles talks about flexibility, it talks about adaptability, it's about psychological safety, it's about creating an environment in which people can bring their best selves to work so that they can then be as productive as they can possibly be. So it's all about, trying to be the best that we can, because things are always changing. We say we live in a VUCA world now. VUCA meaning volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So because things are always changing, we can't use the same, skills and competencies and methods that we've always used for what we do today. We need to keep inspecting and adapting.
That's interesting. We've just come out of a season of Valentine's and love, and in fact, my last two conversations, the last 2 weeks were about Valentine. So I'm going to talk about your family life vis-a-vis you being a coach.
Right.
So I just want to know whether. Let me just remind our callers. If you want to join this conversation, you can call in on 081 084 47518. You can send a message, SMS message, or a WhatsApp message. My guest this evening is Mrs. Mary Laniyan. She's a coach, can I call you a life coach?
Yes, you can.
She's a life coach, all the way from England for our pleasure. Yes. So I want to know your family life as a coach. Do you find yourself trying to coach, I just want to know.
I think I'll say I find myself trying to coach.
Even at home?
At home, yes. And there's been a situation where my niece was like, I don't want you to coach me right now, just leave me alone. So, but this was much earlier in my trajectory. But with more training, and that is also coming from a place of passion. You just want people to be the best that they can possibly be. So you try to leverage coaching opportunities. In terms of love life, were you saying?
Yes.
So you want to know what that looks like?
I want to know what it looks like for a coach. For a coach,
I haven't always
been married. How long have you been married now?
Well, we've been together forever. We've been together from when I was 15 going on 16.
But you actually got married how many years?
Later, 1996. So that's about 28 years now.
That's a lifetime.
Yes. So my love life, I married my friend. I think that is important, so that when you guys have challenges, it becomes easier to bounce back. And we've been together now for that long.
I wanted to know, as a coach, what are the skills of a coach that you can apply?
Okay.
That's what I meant,
Okay.
Yes. That you apply, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Okay. Yeah. Essentially, when you're a coach, it's not just about going into organizations to help organizations or help organizations within an organizational context. You can bring coaching conversations to any conversation. For example, listening intently, okay? Listening, not just waiting for to speak, because to be honest, a lot of human beings are bad listeners. I was a bad listener, and thank God for coaching. I can see the difference. So it's about listening to people, giving them the space to talk, being empathetic, putting yourself in other people's shoes, going the extra mile for people, in terms of just holding the space for empathy. It's totally different from sympathy. This is also about trying to just do the best that you can from people when they ask that of you. So I think in terms of coaching, it has helped me also to step back, because I think one of the things I did much earlier on was I was too much of a fixer. Let me put it that way.
We have a caller now. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? Good evening.
I'm Brother James from Nasarawa State.
Okay, you're welcome. Do you have a question or a comment?
I want to thank the guest today. There's something you say that I'm very happy with. Don't try to solve God's problem. So most of the problems we have is that we want to solve them, wait to go to solve them, and that's why we continue to remain the problem. So I want to thank her for opening my eyes to this thing, to allow problems for God to solve it. And somebody said, music comforts the heart of a saddened, somebody's heart is sad. Actually, music has been helping me a lot. Even I want to do sometimes when I hear some music, in fact, it comes down to make me to forget about things. So thank you for the program.
Oh, that's good. You keep listening to Radio Maria 91.3 FM. We have everything you need in this radio station. Yes. So you see, that's the testimony there,
Fantastic.
That's good. So let's say, what is the path to becoming a coach?
There are different bodies out there. We
have another caller.
Okay.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. You're welcome to the show.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Koche. I'm enjoying the program. God bless, Mama.
Thank you.
And please, I need the title of the second song. I think I'm interested in that song. I listened to the song halfway, so I want to know the title so that I can listen to the song more.
Maybe you can tell. Okay. I think our guest will tell you the
God's problem.
God's problem.
Yes.
God Problems by Maverick. God Problems by Maverick City. So what we'll do is we have your number. We'll send you a text. We'll text it to you, so that
Thank you.
yes, no problem.
Oh, so
Yes,
grateful.
keep
Thank you,
listening
ma.
to Radio Maria 91.3 FM. Thank you for calling in. Yes. So as I was saying, so if somebody is listening and say, "Oh, I want to be a coach," I like how Mrs. Laniyan is speaking. What is the pathway to becoming a coach?
Well, there are so many bodies out there. I belong to the International Coaching Federation, and that is this, gold standard for coaching. So there's the ACC level, the accredited level, the associate level, and then the professional, and then the master. So at the moment, I'm at the very first level. I'm currently training to be a professional coach. So just go online, and thank God for Google these days. You can do a lot of research on your own. So it's about going for what we call coach training.
What's the entry level? Do you have to be a graduate? Not
necessarily, no. You don't need any formal university requirement to start coaching.
Okay. So
not that I know of anyway.
Okay, all right. So can I ask you a question, Mrs. Laniyan? Is there any particular lesson that life has taught you, that you can say, life has taught me this lesson, and I'm leveraging on that experience,
Life has taught me a lot of lessons, and I think coaching has also taken that further for me. And it is that sometimes you have to walk away faster.
When you say walk away faster, can you...
Sometimes things are not working, but because you are so compassionate, you keep trying and trying and trying. Especially in a relationship, sometimes you might feel you want to solve the problem. Like I said, there are some problems you just have to let God solve for you. And then sometimes you don't try to fix somebody. Sometimes we are so compassionate, we are trying to fix people without realizing it. I think at some point in my life, I was trying to do that. You are not God. Don't try to play God in anybody's life.
So you walk away.
Learn to walk away. There are some problems, like I said before, it's God's problem. Walk away, let God do it.
Well, I suppose that would apply to, I imagine you're talking about relationships now.
Absolutely.
That would apply to unmarried couples. When you are married, it's a different ballgame, isn't it?
Well, you can separate from a marriage that is not working for a while. You can separate.
For things to settle down.
For things to settle, for everybody to have clarity. And then perhaps in your lonely moments, when you're on your own and with your own thoughts, you can begin to reflect on certain things and perhaps come to some kind of awareness of how things should be.
And how to move forward.
Yes.
So, apart from your what you told us earlier on about the compassionate aspects of being in Nigeria, the support system and all that, what other major difference is there between living life in Nigeria and life in England, apart from the cold weather and the winter?
I am enjoying myself in Nigeria, I will not lie.
Tell me about it.
When I started having my children, I had what we call au pairs. So for the first 10 years of being a mother, I had help. But in the UK or abroad generally, we do a lot of DIY. Here we have a lot of domestic help, and I think I'm enjoying that right now. I used to like cooking a lot. I don't like cooking anymore. So I like the fact that they cook for me now, because I don't even want to boil water. I've paid my dues. I don't even want to boil water. So it is that bad. Instead, I spend my time reading. I spend my time researching, doing all of the stuff that I need to do a better job. So that, and then of course, friends. You have time for your friends, more than we do over there. And I'm not that much of a party animal at all. I'm someone who spends a lot of time by herself. I love my company, in fact, too much sometimes. And maybe that's coming from me just because I really do love reading. I like listening to music. So I do a lot of stuff on my own. But I am very sociable when I'm with people. You wouldn't even know I'm quite introverted as well. I'm quite sociable when I'm with people. So yeah, I love being in Nigeria, and I'm looking forward to doing all the things I plan to do.
But is that because you're coming to the end of, you're more matured now? Because young people will not hear what you're saying. They all want to escape Nigeria. So what do you think about that? Our young people professionals, doctors, nurses, and they're just living in their thousands.
Well, it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm one of those people who left in the early 90s.
Now you're back.
Now I'm back. But like we said, East or West, home is best. It's about pros and cons, right? There are some things that are working here. There are some things that are not working. I mean, infrastructure-wide things can be better. And then for our youths, there can be more engagement for them. That is the truth. And of course, our youths just want a society that is working. But we can also see a lot of them are doing fantastic jobs in the music sector, in IT. I know a lot of youths who are here in Nigeria and they are working for companies abroad. In fact, when I was in the UK, I trained quite a few people here in Nigeria who were working remotely.
So physically they are in Nigeria and they earn in dollars.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
This was when I was very active with my agile training. One company actually employed my services to train their scrum masters and product owners and to just help them with all the agile ways of working. And more than about 10 of their developers are in Nigeria. Yeah.
So for young people who are contemplating maybe selling, because I've heard stories of people who sold businesses, bank managers, and and they left it all to travel abroad. Some are regretting now.
Of course.
So what is your advice to
My
that
advice
class
would
of
be, if things are working for you relatively well,
in
and when
Nigeria,
I say relatively well, you have a house, or maybe you can pay your rent, your children are going to a decent school, you have a job, your partner, also has a job, I'll say stick it out. You can go for summer holidays if you want, but again, it's down to every individual. You can't really tell people what to do. Someone will say, oh, well, that's easy for you
because
you have gone and come back. So my children are there. They are British citizens. So everybody should do what they feel
what works for them
will work for them. Exactly. But again, it's okay to say, okay, let me sit back and weigh the options. Just weigh the options, especially now that things are changing in America with, government and all of that. So, yeah.
So, because the point I'm trying to make is that there are opportunities here in Nigeria.
Yes, there are opportunities here in Nigeria, but you have to train. That is where you need to keep training yourself. Keep learning. Don't stop learning. Like I said, there are some jobs you can do while you're in Nigeria and you're earning dollars. You can be a PA. You can be a virtual PA. You can be a project manager. You can be a business analyst.
Here in Nigeria?
Here in Nigeria.
And your employers are abroad?
And your employers are abroad.
That's interesting.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So that's part of what you do. You train people.
Well, I trained agile in the agile space. I trained scrum masters, I trained product owners, but I'm focusing more on systemic coaching now. And of course, that will also involve agile practices if I were to help an organization with their, transformation and culture change as well. But generally speaking, there are so many companies out there training people in all these areas that I have just mentioned.
So how do you relax, Mrs. Laniyan?
I listen to music, like I said before. I like to go for massage, and I will perhaps go out with a friend. I'm already planning something with a friend this coming weekend. That's sort of what I do to relax.
So is your husband jackpading with you, or is just you coming to test the waters, as they say?
He will be joining me at some point by the grace of God.
Wow. So that's all you do in Nigeria? You have your massage. What about parties? All those?
I'm not a party person like that at all. Very rarely. And the more parties you go to, the more you are invited to parties. So I'm one of those people, I rarely get invites to parties, because there are some parties you will even invite me to, I will not go. Because let me tell you the kind of parties I like. I like intimate parties, people I know. Parties of like 30 people, 40 people, whereby I can tell
go around and
name.
Yes.
Exactly. All these big owambes. It's not like I don't attend them, I do, but after an hour or two I'm tired because it's too noisy for a start. And
that's because you are Uyibo woman. You're from.
We do parties over there too.
Yes,
we do parties over there.
Big parties like that.
We do, well, maybe not as big as Nigeria, but the people who love their parties, trust me, they do their parties everywhere, no matter where they are. But like I said, I can only take so much of it. I'm a cozy party person.
A cozy party person.
Yes.
I think I'm a cozy party person too.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you know everybody there. You can just mingle and and just talk to everybody.
And you can be there for hours. You wouldn't even know because these are your people.
I'm going to play the next soundtrack to your life. Your Love Is My Love. That's Whitney Houston.
Yes.
You're listening to Journey Through Life with me, your host, Sisi Bunmi, and my guest this evening is Mrs. Mary Laniyan. You can join this conversation on 081-084-47518. You can send an SMS message or WhatsApp message. So, that is a favorite of mine too. So why is it a soundtrack to your life?
I'm a lover girl. I am definitely a lover girl. That's why I love this song. I believe, love should... I believe with love, you should be a happy person. I believe love is important in our lives. I believe that, to have someone you're really intimate with, someone you see that makes you smile, that is important. And that is the kind of relationship I had much, earlier on, especially when we were young. Oh my God. I just believe love is the most important thing in life.
And I think she's talking about unconditional love, even if you're under the bridge or something. That's just
I think I can say I have been that woman. I have been that woman. The Yorubas call it is it Ruta Bokoko?
Yes, yes.
I have been
unconditional love.
Unconditional love. I have been that woman that just wanted just pure love, just wanted to be with you, not because of anything, but just because it's you. And
is love enough?
Me.
Do you think love is enough?
But apparently it's not. I came to realize that wasn't enough.
Really?
Yes, I came to realize that we need more than love. But love is important. But is love enough to make a relationship work? I would tell you no, based on my personal experience. Okay? We need to be very pragmatic also about our relationships. Our parents, they didn't necessarily fall in love. Some of them, it was arranged marriages, right? But somehow they had successful marriages. And then here we are, sometimes we are talking about Valentine, love, and everything. And before you know it, 2 months down the line, these young people are already divorced. So I don't think love is enough. Respect is very important. To be practical, to take personal and radical responsibility in a relationship is extremely important.
That's interesting. Interesting you mentioned arranged marriage, our parents, you know, because apparently arranged marriages still work. And societies where marriages are arranged, they still have the lowest numbers of divorce. Because your parents or whoever is organizing the arrangement, they know you.
They know you.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and they are able to match you appropriately. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess they have their own degree of failure also. I don't think every arranged marriage has been a success.
Yes, but the numbers show that they are much more successful.
Again, I don't know how to answer that question, but obviously whether it's arranged or not, it has the chance to work or not to work. But I see where you're coming from, given that we're saying is love enough, and I'm saying love is not enough. So regardless of, how you come together, it may work, it may not work, but what I'm saying is love is not enough. We need other things. We need respect. We need radical responsibility in our relationships. We need, that mutual respect.
Do we need money?
Of course we need money. But when we need money, my stance on money is very different from perhaps a lot of other people. Maybe that is coming from the fact that I've always been an extremely hardworking person. I'm very happy with 50-50. I'm not one of those women who want a man to do everything. He's a human being. A lot of our men are stretched to the brim because of the demands women are putting on them. Things have changed. Once upon a time, women stayed at home. The men went to hunt. During the harvest, the women came out to help them with the harvest. Things have changed. women are now very capable. We can work. We can earn a living. We can match a man on any, intellectual level. It's not about muscle anymore. So why not? If you can earn, go out there and earn and work as a partner, work in partnership, together.
Don't leave everything for the man.
Don't leave everything for the man. No, I don't agree with that at all. No, that's my standard.
Yeah, I think a lot of women now, in fact, there are women now that are the main breadwinners. They earn the substantial parts of the income of the family. So we have a lot of that
exactly.
too. We have lots of that too.
And you need understanding there. So I said something just now. I said when it comes to, intellectual, a woman can match a man. It's not about muscle anymore. So if you marry a woman and God has blessed the family through the woman, it's now up to the man to understand how to deal with that. A lot of men still don't know how to, deal with that. That is the problem. They don't know how to deal with it because they are so used to being the one in control. For them, it's a lot about their ego, about macho, and it's like, if this woman is successful, she's going to disrespect me.
So what do you say to such men? As a coach, what do you say to such a man that feels,
It's not about what I say to them. It's about, what they bring to the coaching conversation. Because, there are reasons, there are drivers to the way we are all behaving. Sometimes maybe a woman, I'm saying maybe, I'm not saying that is the case. Some women, just because they earn more, they become disrespectful to their husbands. They get carried away as well. But so, you see, human dynamics are very complex. Very, very complex. But for me personally, I feel we are at a time now where, come on, let's help each other. It shouldn't be the woman alone. It shouldn't be the man alone. Yes. Let's help each other. And it doesn't matter how much this one is bringing or how much that one is bringing. When we put it together, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
I like that. So when you look back at your life, this is a journey through your life. When you look back at your life, what has given you the most joy? I mean, what do you think about and have the broadest smile on your face?
My children.
Oh.
I've got 3 girls and a boy, and I have my grandson. And my husband also gives me a lot of joy. We've had our challenges,
Of course.
We've had our challenges, but we are more matured now. Things are better. And I'm missing him so much right now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have video calls, you have all that, so it's not as bad as in those days.
Absolutely.
So, who is your role model? Who is your mentor as a coach? Who do you look up to? Who is your resource person?
I have too many.
So, it's the main one that dead or alive?
I would say my father.
Your father. Mm-hmm.
My father. And my mother, to be honest. My father was a community leader, and I think I get that from him. I'm the kind of person, if once I see anything good here, I'm going to call everybody, come, there's something good here. I'm not the type that wants to progress alone. My father was, he took care of so many people that were not his children. I remember going to see someone in Lagos State some time ago, and my brother had asked me to go and see him. This was a few years ago when I was trying to do some training work. And he said, when you get there, make sure you mention your maiden name. So when I got there, I mentioned my name. You wouldn't believe it. For the first 45 minutes, this man was just talking about my father, because he said my father was this, my father was that. You wouldn't know who his children really are, because he was father to everybody, So he had so many good things to say about my father. And my father was just that kind of person that he didn't have time for things that didn't add value. He was the kind of man that would tell you, make hay while the sun shines, and he would discipline you if you got it wrong. If my father hear you abuse anybody, you will come and tell my father how you know that person is whatever it is you said. So till today, I don't know how to abuse people. Negativity is just not part of who I am. So my father was my role model.
And you said your mother too.
And my mother, my very hardworking mom. She had 9 children.
Wow.
She had a football team. She had 11, but 3, she lost 3. So she ended up with 9. Very hardworking.
So what number are you in the ranking?
8.
Number 8.
Number 8, yes. And
I can imagine family gatherings.
Oh yes. I mean, when we have to throw a party in my family, we don't even need to invite anybody. we have the numbers with all the
children and grandchildren.
We have the numbers. Yeah, my mother unfortunately wasn't educated, but she always loved to work, to be educated. And I remember when
we have a caller. What's your name? Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're welcome to the show. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Just listening to the program, there's a question that just came my mind. I wish to ask the guest on the studio if
Go ahead.
Just to the question.
Yes.
Like you said, a woman became so disrespectful when he is the one that is stable financially. What should the man do? Will she sit down and be watching? That's my first question. Then the second question is like, okay, imagine your husband is in abroad or your wife is in Nigeria, and your wife is working here and the husband is in abroad working there. Who should fulfill his job to join order between the two?
So you mean one is abroad, one is in Nigeria?
Yes, ma'am.
So you want to know who should
having job in different locations.
Okay.
So who should fulfill his own job to join the other
All
person?
right. You got the
Maybe
questions.
the wife have job in Nigeria, and the husband have job in abroad,
Okay.
and they need to get together with each other. Who among them now will fulfill his job to join the other person?
Okay.
The wife or the husband?
Okay. So 2 questions for you there. The first one is...
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Did you get the questions?
The first one was
the first one was about a woman who earns more and maybe is having an attitude. So how does the man deal with that? That's what he would like to know.
Okay, so for everybody, as always, it is different. He needs to express what he's feeling. They need to come together and have a conversation about it. And if they need to go for some kind of counseling, they need to do that. Again, it will be different, everybody's circumstance will be different. The second question, if one person has a job in location A, another person has a job in location B, again, it comes down to having the right conversation. All these things has a lot to do with having the right conversation. But most of the time, we all shy away from difficult conversations. And in Nigeria, and hopefully it's becoming popular now that people are going for counseling, people are seeking the help of coaches, because these emotional conversations are not always easy to have by themselves. It's always good to have, like a mediator or a third party to help them navigate that. But again, to avoid these problems in the first place, that is why before you even get married, let us have an alliance. How do we want to be as husband and wife? One of the reasons why a lot of marriages are struggling today is because they never had an alliance. And where there's no agreement, there's no expectation. Okay? That is I made that mistake too. Okay? So, where there's no alliance, everybody's just doing what they like. Okay? It's hit or miss, So, but when there's an alliance, to say, how do we want to be? And guess what? It's an alliance that you must constantly review. To say, is this alliance still serving us as a couple? What is our couple's goal?
But also for the caller, I just wanted to, what do you say to him? What is your advice to him in particular? Maybe perhaps his wife, his girlfriend is earning more than him and has developed an attitude. Do you think he has to work on himself as well to build up his own confidence?
Absolutely. It could be that you need to build
and
up
support the woman.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's difficult to answer this question in a very straightforward way because
personal,
the context is always so different.
Yes.
If a woman is having an attitude, why? Could it be that it's the man that even started, having an attitude? So it's about having the conversation to say, what exactly is happening here? Why am I feeling the way that I am feeling? What conversation should we be having? And it's not always easy to have those conversations. You may need a third party to help you, mediate that conversation.
I hope that answers your questions. So, is Mary a happy woman?
I'm very happy, to the glory of God.
Yes?
I'm very happy. There's no reason not to be happy. I'm healthy. My children are
fulfilled.
doing okay. I am very, very fulfilled. Listen, I'm one of the 28% of people in the world of working people who love what they do. I absolutely love what I do.
That's good.
If you wake me up at 3 a.m. to coach somebody, I'll be as alert as anything, or to train somebody. I love what I do, and I think that is a huge privilege, and I'm grateful for that.
That's interesting. So I'm going to ask you now, being that you're coming back from England, if I were to offer you fish and chips, that's the one, fish and chips or amala, ewedu and gbegiri, what would it be?
The latter. The latter for sure.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Would you wash it down with champagne or water?
I'll wash it down with maybe one malt.
Malt,
yes.
Yeah. So, as you continue your life journey, is there any luxury item that you cannot live without? Is there any that particular item that you cannot live without, that you must have?
My books.
Your books.
Yeah.
Your books.
Both hard copy and digital copies.
And digital.
My books follow me everywhere. Some critical books follow me everywhere.
Does that include a Bible?
Oh yes, of course. I always have a Bible on my phone.
Fantastic. Have you enjoyed your time here with us?
Absolutely.
Would you come again if we invited you? When we will invite you, definitely.
I will be here.
Because we want to know we want to do a follow-up with you to know how you're settling into Nigeria and whether you're going to stay or you're going to... What is that? What will that now be? Jackpot, what?
Jackpot part 3. I intend to stay by the grace of God. I pray it works for me. Nigeria has its challenges, but I pray it works.
Home is still the best, no matter what. We have to make it work here in Nigeria. Yes. We thank you very much for being a part of this show this evening. We're sending you to continue the journey of your life, wishing you good health, the mercy of God, and much more happiness in your choices.
Thank you.
My guest has been Mrs. Mary Laniyan. She's a life coach. She's a diaspora returning back from England, and we're happy that you came here to spend this 1 hour with us. Thank you for listening to this show this evening. We hope you will also join us next week, Monday, same time, 5 p.m., as we journey through another life. Thank you, Abuja. Have a good evening.